So in 2013, I heard a speech given at a citizens conference that blew my mind. Paul Hellyer is the ex-Prime Minister of Defense of Canada. In 2013, at a citizens conference, he gave a speech that, it left me speechless. It was a speech that left me speechless.
I accept the invitation of Victor Vigiani, who's over here somewhere, and his cohort Mike Bird to speak to a symposium at the University of Toronto. And I said, UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. That gave me the dubious distinction of being the first person of cabinet rank in the G8 group of countries to say so unequivocally.
I had been obviously, researching the paranormal and looking into aliens and stuff like that at the time, as this is obviously something that I've been doing for quite a while. I remember the day that that video popped up. I think it was like I was just digging through YouTube videos and it came up on, the sidebar, and I saw it and I clicked it and I couldn't believe it, because this guy wasn't just anybody. He wasn't just another abductee or a normal person, coming out and saying they saw a UFO, or some guy that supposedly worked for a black project. This guy was the ex-Prime Minister of Defense, and he's not only advocating full disclosure, he says that they did some research and they concluded that there are 4 species that have been visiting Earth for thousands of years.
An investigation was launched into this whole subject, and a document was prepared which concluded that at least 4 species had been visiting Earth for thousands of years.
There are 20 other species that he, hasn't classified yet. They have an idea from what star systems these species are from. So guys, like I said, I remember watching this and just sitting at my computer, like covering my face, just like I couldn't believe it. And I closed the door to my room because I was just like, my dad was in the living room and I was like, I don't want him to hear me like overreacting right now. I need to hear what this guy says all the way through this speech, and then maybe I'll tell him to watch it and we can talk about it. We can have a discussion about it. He even says in his speech that the US government on an Air Force base was working with tall whites, which are basically, I'm assuming, the tall gray aliens, which we talked about in the alien abduction vlog.
And I was glad to have Linda this morning finally say that there are live ETs on Earth at this present time, and at least 2 of them probably working with the United States government. The other species that I learned about not too long ago was called the tall whites.
Aliens have been living among us. That is a crazy statement to make. It's an amazing statement, and if his source is correct, where he's getting this information from, that's good to know. Claims basically, what I feel is, a possibility here when looking into this. Every species of alien that could exist, because I don't think there's, if there's one type, there's got to be a bunch of different types of aliens, because the cosmos is limitless.
For now, my interest is in full disclosure. And my only caveat is, I think probably I would say 95 to 98% full disclosure. I know of one or two things that I'm not sure should be in the public domain, at least yet. They will be someday, I'm sure, but not maybe immediately. But just as children survive the idea of the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus when they become adult, I think that tax-paying citizens are quite capable of accepting the new and broader reality that we live in a cosmos teeming with life of various sorts.
They may not all be intelligent, they may not all be peaceful, they may not all be, they all have their own agenda, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and he states that in his speech. He says at one point of his speech that he wants full disclosure, but then he states that he only wants like 95 to 98% of the information given to the public about this topic, because he thinks we're not ready for that small percentage of information, to make it 100% there. But what do you think that is? Like, isn't that crazy that somebody that's coming out and flat out saying there are 4 species of alien, there are 20 species that may be unclassified, they work with the governments of the world, they've been visiting us for thousands of years, but there's something you shouldn't know yet about this. I also thought it was a bit strange that he was saying that the public should know this information to sort of like help with our survival. He says that word a few times, I think, in his speech, or it just stood out to me every time he said that. Survival. Survival is a pretty heavy word. Then he goes into talking about shadow governments, the oil, the banking cartels, the Bilderbergers, the Rockefellers. So when Phil is talking about the Bilderbergers, the Rockefellers, and the shadow government conspiracy, the banking cartels sort of controlling the world, and he even states, he brings up 9/11, he brings up the war on terror, and how that basically fluctuates, the world economy and all that kind of stuff. He's talking about the New World Order. Yeah.
It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match.
Illuminati confirmed stuff, you know what I'm saying? Wait, before you freak out, I'm not Illuminati. Like, I don't have any money. I'm not Illuminati. The other day, I watched Stephen Greer's Unacknowledged documentary or film. It was a great film. You see a lot of, sources coming out that are high up in government or have, they're just credible sources. And even Stephen Greer is like showing documents and talking about how this is just, the government knows that UFOs exist. There's two sides to this story. It seems like some of these, big researchers like Stephen Greer are warning us about some shadow government that's gonna, fake an alien invasion, or, just more conspiracy stuff. And then there's other people that are saying, like Tom DeLonge, the ex-Blink-182 member, or the founder of Blink-182 actually, is saying that, the government's not that bad, the government's actually trying to think of a way to say this to us. And like I said in my alien abduction video, they're gonna have a lot of explaining to do. Paul Hellyer said they've been visiting us for thousands of years. So the government has probably known for many years, if they know that aliens exist. And there may be, higher powers or these shadow governments that, use the resources that these intelligent beings have. and also making excuses for knowing that this was going on and not telling us for years and years and years. So thank you guys for watching this vlog. If you watched it all the way through, do me a favor and share the vlog. Share it with whoever you want to share it with your friends that are into this stuff. And subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I want you guys to start discussions down in these videos, and feel free to say whatever you want to say. Do not feel like you're going to get judged here, and if you do get judged, fuck them. You know what I mean? Just say whatever you want to say. It's open for discussion.